Captain Rick Shelford scoured the turbulent waters for his 25,000 pounds of fare die amid violent and confused seas, unaware that his story would soon become part of a larger storm surrounding one of television's most perilous shows. Deadliest Catch, the Discovery Channel phenomenon that began in 2005, was more than just a reality series. It was an unfiltered window into the raw, untamed life of Alaskan crab fishermen who braved the unforgiving Bering Sea. The show's premise was simple yet captivating. Follow the courageous crews as they risked their lives to haul in the elusive king crab and snow crab, navigating monstrous waves, freezing winds, and bone-chilling waters that hovered between 34 degrees and 41 degrees F. But as the seasons rolled on and the audience grew into millions, the dangers that made the show thrilling also began to consume it. The Bering Sea, named after Danish explorer Vitus Bering, was no ordinary body of water. It was a marginal sea of the northern Pacific Ocean, notorious for its deadly storms, unpredictable currents, and shallow depths that turned swells into towering walls of destruction. Its frigid winters transformed the water into a floating minefield of ice, each chunk capable of ripping a steel hull to shreds. To the fishermen, these conditions were just part of the job, but to the untrained eye, they bordered on madness. And yet, these men returned season after season, chasing both fortune and purpose across an ocean that seemed to hunger for souls. The result was captivating television, but also a haunting reminder that nature rarely forgives. Over the years, Deadliest Catch evolved from an adventurous reality show into a gripping saga of survival, courage, and tragedy. What began as a celebration of human endurance soon morphed into a chilling testament to how much risk people will shoulder for a paycheck and a bit of fame. Among the countless tales from the show, few were as harrowing as that of Dean Gribble Jr., who in December 2019 faced the nightmare of every fisherman. His vessel, the Scandies Rose, collided with floating ice and sank into the freezing abyss, taking 5 of the 7 crew members with it. Gribble and fellow survivor John Lawler barely escaped in a lifeboat and were rescued by the Coast Guard after enduring hypothermia and near death. For Gribble, the sea that once symbolized freedom became a reminder of fragility. He later turned to safer waters, chronicling his fishing adventures online under the name King Crabba, forever marked by the tragedy that took his shipmates. His story reflected the brutal reality behind the cameras, that the Bering Sea's beauty is matched only by its cruelty. For all its breathtaking imagery and suspense, Deadliest Catch carried a dark history that grew harder to ignore. The show's success spawned over 20 seasons, but behind the scenes lay a trail of injuries, addiction, mental health struggles, and death. Some called it the curse of the Bering Sea, a mysterious force that seemed to follow the show's cast both on and off the water. Many of the fishermen who appeared on the series eventually succumbed to illness, substance abuse, or tragic accidents, and not all of them happened at sea. As fans watched their favorite captains battle the elements, few realized how deeply the psychological and physical toll of this lifestyle ran. The constant danger, sleep deprivation, and isolation left scars that fame could not heal. Even when the storms cleared, the darkness lingered. Then environmental and economic pressures began closing in. Climate change wreaked havoc on crab populations, forcing the government to impose strict fishing regulations to preserve dwindling species. With fewer crabs to catch and smaller quotas to meet, the very foundation of the show began to crumble. Discovery Channel faced a grim choice: continue at the risk of ecological damage and human lives, or shut down a beloved series that had defined adventure television for nearly 2 decades. For many fans, it seemed Deadliest Catch had finally met its match, not in the sea's wrath but in nature's changing tides. Yet the human drama did not end there. The show's long roster of fishermen offered stories as wild as the storms they endured. Captain Scott Campbell Jr., who joined Deadliest Catch in Season 7, became a fan favorite for his skill, intelligence, and deep respect for the sea. But even he could not escape the toll of the job. Chronic back pain forced him off the water after Season 10, a painful farewell that left fans heartbroken. Still, Campbell refused to surrender. He went on to build a successful business, Cordova Coolers, later rebranded Cordova Outdoors, and eventually returned to the sea aboard the Lady Alaska. His resilience made him a symbol of the show's spirit. No matter how fierce the waves, true fishermen always return. Others were not as fortunate. Wild Bill Wachowski, one of the most seasoned captains on the show, survived countless storms and near-death experiences only to be confronted with something more personal: prostate cancer. His diagnosis in 2023 shocked fans who viewed him as indestructible. Despite the grim prognosis, he fought back with characteristic defiance, documenting his recovery, and by early 2025 triumphantly announcing he was cancer-free. His survival story became one of the rare glimmers of hope amid a sea of despair, a reminder that courage comes in many forms. But some stories were far darker. Josh Harris, son of the legendary Captain Phil Harris, rose to fame as one half of the Harris brothers, fan favorites whose bond and bravery made them icons of the series. After their father's death, Josh took the helm of the Cornelia Marie and later starred in the spin-off Deadliest Catch, Bloodline. But in 2022, a shocking revelation from his past surfaced. Court documents revealed he had been convicted of sexually assaulting a child when he was a teenager. The discovery led to his immediate removal from the show and the cancellation of his spin-off. The revelation sent shockwaves through the fanbase, shattering the image of one of the show's most beloved figures and forcing Discovery Channel to sever ties permanently. Then there was Joshua Tell Warner, perhaps the strangest story in Deadliest Catch history. A deckhand aboard the Wizard in Season 5, Warner lived a double life. By day, he was a fisherman braving deadly seas, by night, a wanted bank robber. While appearing on national television, he continued robbing banks in Oregon, even returning to the same branch multiple times before his arrest in 2009. Sentenced to 9 years in prison, Warner vanished from public view, becoming a ghost in the show's long and troubled history. These scandals, combined with the rising death toll and environmental restrictions, fueled speculation that Deadliest Catch was cursed, or at least doomed to collapse under the weight of its own darkness. Even as tragedy mounted, the sea seemed unwilling to release its hold. Sig Hansen, one of the show's original legends and captain of the Northwestern, suffered a massive heart attack in 2018 while at sea. His survival was a miracle, but it signaled the slow decline of the show's heroes. Years of battling storms had taken their toll, and many of the veteran captains were aging, their bodies battered and broken. Younger generations showed little interest in taking their place. Crab fishing was no longer a path to glory, but a reminder of the peril and pain that awaited those who dared to challenge the Bering Sea. With equipment costs rising, quotas shrinking and health crises multiplying, the profession itself faced extinction. The Discovery Channel tried to adapt, shifting focus toward new species like golden king crab and cod to keep the show alive. In August 2025, against all odds, Deadliest Catch returned for another season. But the question lingered, was it bravery or folly to continue tempting fate? The answer depends on how you see the sea. To outsiders, the Bering Sea is a death trap, a freezing expanse that swallows ships and dreams alike. To the fishermen who have called it home, it is something far more complex. It's a place of beauty and terror, of hardship and triumph, where every sunrise could be your last and every successful haul feels like a victory over death itself. These men and women understand the risk better than anyone, yet they return not out of ignorance, but out of love. For them, the sea is not a monster to be feared, but a living, breathing entity that demands respect. They know its moods, its patterns, its secrets. They have seen it destroy ships and save lives in equal measure. And though the cameras might capture their laughter and their pain, what they cannot show is the quiet understanding that binds them, the unspoken pact between human and ocean. The Bering Sea may test them, but it also defines them. As the show continues to evolve, Deadliest Catch stands as both a tribute and a warning. It celebrates the indomitable spirit of those who dare to challenge nature, while reminding viewers of the steep price of that defiance. Behind every dramatic wave and triumphant catch lies a cost, a life lost, a family grieving, or a body pushed past its limits. The fishermen of Deadliest Catch are not invincible heroes. They are human beings driven by duty, pride, and a deep-rooted connection to the sea. They face storms that most would flee from, knowing full well that one wrong move could end everything. Yet they keep going year after year because to them the sea is more than work, it is home. And perhaps that is why, even as tragedy haunts its legacy, Deadliest Catch remains one of the most captivating and enduring shows ever made. It's not just about catching crabs, it's about confronting fear, embracing danger, and finding meaning in survival itself. The ocean may be merciless, but so too is the human spirit. And as long as men and women are willing to face the waves, the story of Deadliest Catch will never truly end.